everybody, my name is Kelly. I'm here for a Thrifty Notion to share the first video in what will hopefully be a 6-part series of Christmas DIYs. These videos are going to be in collaboration between a Thrifty Notions channel and my channel, so I'm going to be filming all of them, but half of them are going to be right here and half of them will be on my channel. The goal is that there will be 2 videos every week, one on my channel, one on Thrifty's channel. That may change depending on the circumstances and how things go, but that's the plan as of right now, and I'm really excited about the DIYs that I filmed for you guys thus far. So for today's video, I'm going to be sharing a few different ideas of how you can DIY your own ornaments using yarn. Not only are these very affordable and very thrifty, but I figured that if you're a customer here at Thrifty Notion, you probably dip your toes in quite a few different crafty activities and you probably already have yarn on hand. So this would be a great way to fill out your tree a little bit more if you're needing some ornaments and don't want to spend a lot of money. So the first one is just a yarn wrapped ornament, and this is very simple, but I thought it was a great one because if you have some old ornaments that are scratched up, or if you have ornaments that were given to you from events, or I know like my mom has quite a few from the place she works that are branded with the location's name on them. That is something that, you know, if you have 6 different ornaments from the place you work, you might not really care to have 6 of them, so you could upcycle them, or like I said, if you have damaged ornaments, you can make them prettier without having to throw them away. So I actually got a couple of just blank ornaments from the dollar store to use for this DIY, but if you have some on hand that you could upcycle, that's definitely the route that I would go. And all I did was take off the little top piece so that I could have a flat surface to rest this on as it was drying. I took some yarn and I just wrapped it around the ornament, and this was very simple. It did take a while because I was using a very thin yarn, so my recommendation would be that if you're using a thicker yarn, to just go ahead and use a hot glue gun because it will dry faster, it'll be super secure, and then if you want to add glue over top afterward, you can. If you're using a thinner yarn, I would recommend just coating the ball as you go with Elmer's glue, as you see me doing here, and then wrapping it carefully, trying to keep it pressed down as you go. It'll be really easy up until you get about to the halfway point, and then as you do this top half, it'll start to want to slide upward. So that's what makes it take a while, is just trying to coax it down, keep it going the way that you want it to as you work on it, and just keeping the yarn coated in glue as you work with this thinner yarn will be the best way to go about it that I found. But like I said, my recommendation would be to use a thicker yarn, use hot glue, and then if you want it to have kind of a harder surface, you could coat it with Elmer's glue or Mod Podge after the fact. But this is a very fun look, and I really like how they turned out. I do like these because I use this type of yarn on multiple ornaments that I made. So even though these took a while, I did make 2 to coordinate with these other ornaments that I made, but I think if I make more of these in the future, I'll definitely be going with a thicker yarn. So each of these yarn ornaments are very simple, but there are a lot of ways that you could customize them. So one idea I had for the yarn wrapped ball is that you could wrap it with green yarn, and then you could add little dots of paint or little beads or even buttons to it to add like little ornaments to your tree ball. I think that would be really cute. You could add an initial to it if you wanted to, or add some words in like a thinner yarn on top of the thicker yarn if you go that route. Or if you use this thinner yarn on the ball, you could even write on top of this or paint on top of this because you have a fairly flat surface to work with. The second ornament that I made out of yarn is very simple, but I'm really excited about this one because there are lots of ways you can customize it. I made these letter ornaments using cardboard and just wrapping them in yarn. I did a combination of using hot glue and Elmer's glue to wrap the yarn just to hold it in place. So on the edges where I really needed it to glue down securely on like the ends of the letters, I used hot glue. And then on the middle portions of the letters, I did coat the cardboard in Elmer's glue as I wrapped, just so that it would hold it in place a little bit better as I went and be more secure. That's probably not necessary. You probably could just secure the edges, but I just decided to do that just in case. I went ahead and did the initials of my cats, which is kind of silly, but it's just me and my cats, so I figured that having one for each of my pets would be great. I plan to try to get a paw print from each of my cats to add on to this as like a little dangle. I'm thinking I might add it to the bottom, or I might just hang it from the same loop over top of the letter. I haven't decided yet, but I think it'd be really fun to get a paw print from each of them and add the year and their name. So I have one for Killian, one for Opal, and one for my baby girl Pepper. And another thing that you could do with this is go the same route as the first suggestion for the ball ornament. You could make these with green yarn and add little embellishments to make them look kind of like trees. You could add the full name to them. Like I said, write it on, paint it on. It would be a little bit harder since this is more textured, but there are ways that I'm sure you could go about doing that if you wanted to. And like I said, you could also add little dangling charms from each one to represent the hobbies of each person you make them for, if you make them for family members, or you could make them for your pets and do something like I mentioned before. And since we're on the topic of pets, I also think this would be a great way to make a memorial ornament for a pet. If you have one that has passed away and you have like their old collar tag or something like that, you could make the ornament and attach their collar tag to it, and I think that would be very sweet. My last suggestion for an ornament that could be made with yarn would be to make beaded tassel ornaments. You can also just make beaded ornaments, which are very cute as well, but since we're talking about yarn, I wanted to add the tassel on, and these are so cute. These are great filler ornaments, especially because they come out fairly small. You can use larger beads if you want to make them more of a statement. And the great thing about these is that you can customize them to your color palette or to a theme if you'd like to. Actually, I have a few here that I made for my mom's cardinal tree that I made with red beads, and I made smaller tassels on these ones, and I wrapped the tassel in a red wire instead of using the yarn. So these came out really cute, and they are a little bit different from your standard, wood bead and tassel, which this is definitely something I've seen a lot of people make, but it's great to think about how you can customize it to your taste. So these beads are a stone look. They actually might be dyed quartz, I'm not positive, but they're just like a red stone. So there are so many ways that you can customize these. You can go any color palette, any route you want, and you can use a thicker yarn. I would say your tassel will definitely come out bigger and fluffier, but it'll just be more of a statement. All right, you guys, that's all for this video. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed hearing these ideas of ways you can make some ornaments on a budget, upcycle ornaments you already have, or just use up some of your craft supplies. I would love to hear your thoughts on how you would like to customize them in the comments down below. If you're interested in seeing how I made these macrame ornaments, that video will be on my channel very soon, if not already. I haven't quite figured out the posting schedule for this series yet, so head on over to the link in the description box if you'd like to keep up with the videos on my channel as well. Give me a follow if you'd like to. I primarily post content related to sewing projects, DIY projects, and thrifting, so a lot of things that align with the values of a Thrifty Notion. So if you're here, I think you would like my channel as well. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed today's video and seeing all of the DIYs that I came up with using yarn. I have so many more ideas, so I will hold on to those for next year. Thanks again, happy holidays, and happy crafting!